break for a welcome rest. As always, day 2 would be an even longer day, and the day that will decide the outcome of the Sasol. Fecken has a dream, but Gemmel and Cronje have other plans. It's day 2 of the famous Sasol Rally, the day that would decide the outcome of round 3 of the Sasol South African Rally Championship. Pride is at stake here, but also a spot at the top of the championship points table. It's quite fitting then that the names Fecken and Gemmel, the two drivers tied at the top of the current championship points table, are also on the top of the overall standings going into day 2. But 14 seconds is all that stands between Fecken in the lead and Cronje in third.
Before returning to the forest, the drivers will first have to battle it out on the streets of Nelspruit.
This is stage 7, the extremely popular Sasol Sensational stage in front of thousands of people in the streets of Nelspruit. It's a super special stage where evenly matched cars race each other on different loops of the same course. In a close dice, the two cars should reach the flying finish at the same time, adding to the excitement for the large crowds.
First up, BP Ultimate Polo versus Castrol Toyota Auris. Rally leader Hergen Fecken and Pierre Arries and Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley. Cronje is a former multiple circuit racing champion, as well as a world go-karting champion, and put his dart driving skills to excellent use by setting a blistering time of 1 minute and 7 seconds. Fecken took it easy, perhaps too easy, and lost 4 seconds to Cronje. 4 seconds that could come back and haunt him later on. In another BP Ultimate Volkswagen and Castrol Toyota battle, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd squared up against Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh. This time, Volkswagen turned the tables as Habig flew past the finish, with Gemmel more than 2 seconds behind.
2, 1, go.
Fourth placed Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson were locked in battle with fifth place JP Damser and Andre Vermeulen. On the Nelspruit streets, Keen won this battle by 4 seconds over the Total Evolution runners.
Keep left now, keep left.
Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich in the Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru, and Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyra in the Toyota Runnix. Production car versus S2000, and on this occasion, there was nothing in it, not even a single second.
After the break, Sasol Rally action returns to the forest rally roads around Sabi for the final showdown on 6 more gravel stages of the 2009 Sasol Rally. Hergen Fecken only has a few stages between himself and his dream of winning the Sasol, but Cronje and Gemmel are only seconds behind. It's almost impossible to think that 2 or even more drivers can complete an event on exactly the same time, the same second. But this is a definite possibility, and to avoid this from happening in the future, the organizers of the Sasol experimented with advanced timing systems that measure a rally car's stage time to the 10th of a second. The Instrotech rally timing equipment showed what the future will bring, and who knows, soon we can have a driver winning a 2-day rally by a 10th of a second. For stage 8 and 9, it was back to the Kumatiland forests, the same scene for stages 2 and 3 from the day before. And once again, these 2 tricky stages will have to be covered without any service in between, bringing the puncture curse back into the equation. It's also where Habig lost his chance to compete for Sasol Rally honours.
As rally leaders, Hergen Fecken and Pierre Arries got to choose their road position for day 2. And for once, the teams figured that first on the road is the better place to be. The thinking is that these stages were already used the day before, and that road sweeping would therefore not play a role. Fecken decided that running first will eliminate the risk of getting stuck in someone's dust. The BP Ultimate Polo flew through stage 8 in a time of 13 minutes and 2 seconds, or a full 10 seconds faster than his time from the day before.
It's much better than yesterday. Yesterday we had a lot of dust in this stage.
But Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh, from 7th on the road in their Castrol Toyota Auris, had other ideas. Gemmel's speed was simply breathtaking as the Auris flew past the flying finish in a blistering time of 12 minutes and 55 seconds, or a full 20 seconds faster than his time for Friday. But more importantly, 7 seconds faster than Fecken. The gap between the leading duo was now just 6 seconds.
Yeah, nice time. It's a pity we didn't do it yesterday. We had a little bit of a problem, but it was good.
Fecken and Aries, however, responded on stage 9 with a time of 12 minutes and 34 seconds, beating their own time from the day before by a massive 14 seconds, sending a clear message to Gemmel. The Sasol Toyota Auris was driven hard on stage 9, also going considerably quicker than its time on Friday, but only managed a time of 12 minutes and 39 seconds. The gap between them was now back up to 11 seconds. The second Sasol Toyota of Mark Cronier and Robert Paisley started the day's gravel action just 10 seconds behind Fecken and in second place, but a time of 13 minutes and 8 seconds on stage 8 saw them slip past their teammate Gemmel. Cronier managed to equal Gemmel's time on stage 9, but found himself a full 10 seconds behind his teammate. Perhaps he decided that it was time to settle for third.
Over junction and then bump and then 180. Chris Smith into caution, jumped up at the top.
We caught quite a bit of dust there, so it was a bit tricky in the dust, you know, so, yeah.
2, 1, go. Left 5 in and care. Right 3 in.
This time round, there was no fire inside the BP Ultimate Polo of Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson, but the lengthy Cape Townians simply could not keep up with the pace of the leading trio. Keane lost 20 seconds to the leaders in stage 8 and a further 18 seconds in stage 9. But more importantly, now found himself a full 21 seconds behind Cronier in third. It seemed like Keane was prepared to settle for fourth. Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich started the day in 6th position in their Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru. But the leading production car driver gained another position after the overnight 5th place Total Evolution Runnings of JP Damso and Andre Vermeulen refused to start on day 2. Damso was forced to withdraw from the Sasol, handing his 5th place to Wilkin, who now also had a commanding production car lead.
Yeah, I nursed the car a little bit over the rough stuff there. So the time's not that bad, but you might have a broken shock in the back now. So.
The remaining Total Evolution Runnings of Fernando Rueda and Cobus Frey started Saturday's gravel road action just 6 seconds behind the Subaru of Wilkin, but a puncture cost them valuable time. After this loop of stages, the gap between 5th and 6th position grew to 23 seconds.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. We had a puncture 8Ks in the livery and we just drove. We had to drive it out, you know.
But the Spaniard had another problem because the BP Ultimate Polo of Jan Habig and Douglas Judd was on a charge. Habig dropped out of the top 10 due to punctures on Friday, but even another puncture on stage 8 couldn't stop his charge back up the leaderboard. After stage 9, the multiple champion had moved back into 7th position, just 16 seconds behind Rueda.
9 stages have been completed, and as in Cape Town 3 weeks earlier, the battle at the front was fierce. Hergen Fecken has never won the prestigious Sasol, but is in a good position to do it this year. Gemmel was now his main rival, although Mark Cronier was still within striking distance, but 21 seconds behind. With only an 11-second lead, Fecken could not afford to take it easy.
We were just in front, you know, we leading by 11 seconds now. We were 13 ahead. So it's not much. We lost 7, we took 5 back, so it's going to be one of those days.
Gemmel was in a destructive mood and determined to chase Fecken down.
Fecken's going well. First one we did a nice time this morning. Second one he took a little bit of time back, so I think it's now 11 or 12 seconds. But we're doing a 20k stage now, just under 21, so we'll see what we can do there. It's actually the first time we're going through it, so he's first on the road, so maybe he'll lose a little bit there and we might gain. We've been 7th on the road.
Was Mark Cronier settling for 3rd, or could he still have a say?
But we're going into a new stage now, so he's going to have to sweep the road for us, and let's see what happens.
Stage 10 was a virgin stage with 20 kilometers of untouched rough gravel roads on the outskirts of Sabi. This meant that Fecken had to fulfill the role as road sweeper, so his decision to be first on the road for Saturday could backfire on this stage.
The BP Ultimate Polo of Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aries blasted through the Komatiland forest in a quest for Sasol glory. The conditions were rough, but Fecken kept his foot flat and set the benchmark time of 13 minutes and 29 seconds.
2, rock on your side. C100, right 7, up.
We pushed quite hard in this stage. I wanted to make a bit of a gap.
Mark Cronier and Robert Paisley were hoping for one last chance to influence the outcome, But the Castrol Toyota Auris crossed the flying finish in a time of 13 minutes and 30 seconds, losing another second to the leader.
Jump left 4, caution, jump left 4 here. Into right 5 in, opens, and then 17.
Disappointed because I think we should have taken time off the back.
So it was now up to Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh in the second Castrol Toyota Auris to now take the fight to Fecken. Gemmel looked fast. The time to beat was 13 minutes and 29 seconds. Gemmel approaches the flying finish and crosses it in a time of 13 minutes and 24 seconds. Fecken's lead has again gone from 11 to just 6 seconds. This great Sasol battle has now turned into a two-horse race between Fecken and Gemmel as the BP Ultimate Polo and the Castrol Toyota Auris were trading faster stage times on every stage so far on day 2. On stage 11, a repeat from stage 1 from the day before, Gemmel looked fast. But Fecken looked just a little faster going through one of the many tricky corners. Gemmel and Marsh stopped the watch at 6 minutes and 4 seconds. But would it be enough to keep Fecken at bay? No, Fecken goes faster by 3 seconds and extends his lead again to 9 seconds.
Time to catch a breath as the battle moved on to stage 12, a repeat from stage 10 just hours before. During the first run over this stage, Fecken swept the road and lost 5 seconds to his rival Gemmel. As all the cars have now driven over the stage, road sweeping will not be a factor anymore. But can he keep the charging Toyota at bay this time round?
They certainly tried. The BP Ultimate Polo flew through stage 12 with Fecken and Aries driving as if their life depended on it. Remember, this is the elusive Sasol Rally that Fecken wants to win most. His time on this same stage a few hours ago was 13 minutes and 29 seconds, but this time Fecken recorded a time of 13 minutes and 19 seconds, a full 10 seconds faster than before. But what could Gemmel and Marsh do? The Castrol Toyota Auris was now also familiar with the rough conditions on the stage, and Gemmel put the hammer down. It is so difficult to see a speed difference with the naked eye, but the Auris looked faster. And then the stopwatch confirmed it, 13 minutes and 10 seconds, a full 9 seconds faster than Fecken. And for the first time today, we have a tie at the top of the leaderboard.
After nearly 160 kilometers of flat-out gravel racing, not even a single second could separate the BP Ultimate Polo of Fecken and Aries and the Castrol Toyota Auris of Gemmel and Marsh.
While Fecken and Gemmel were battling for overall Sasol honours, the remaining crews in the other national rally classes were having their own fights. Off-road racing champion Evan Hutchison and the daughter of rally legend Cassie Gutsia Alvin are getting better and better during every outing in the Team Motorrad Toyota Run-X. Hutchison has finished every event so far this year in second position in Class A7, and the Sasol was no different. The Motorrad Run-X reached the end in 14th position overall, and again second in Class A7. But Class A7 on the Sasol belonged to none other than Northern Region's rally champions Skalkberger Jr. and Armand de Tooy, and they're slightly older but still very fast USN Spike Energy Drink Toyota Corolla. Berger has been on the pace since joining this class, but on both previous occasions, the engine in the Corolla let him down. The same engine again only fired on 3 cylinders for most of this event, but it couldn't stop Berger from claiming his first Class A7 victory and 11th overall.
We had a terrible season, starting 2 rallies, playing 2 engines, and yeah, third time lucky.
Class A6 veteran Craig Trott and Robbie Gutsia started day 2 of the Sasol marginally ahead of teammates Rodney Versaghi and Carolyn Swan and the similar Total Evolution Toyota Run-X. But Versaghi managed to overhaul Trott on stage 8. There is no love lost between these two teammates, and what followed was a great battle, with only seconds separating the two throughout the day. In the end, it was Versaghi who beat Trott by a slender 9 seconds. But their great battle was only good enough for second position, as Class A6 belonged to the talents of Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin. The Total Evolution Auris won almost every stage, and Musa not only managed to win Class A6 by a rather large margin of nearly 2.5 minutes, but also finished the Sasol in a very respectable 12th position overall, ahead of some of the faster N4 and A7 cars.
We've become one with the car. It's been really great. And the Sasol normally treats us well, so yeah, I'm really happy.
In Class A5, for rapid little front-wheel drive City Golfs and Toyota Yaris's, former champions Gugu Zulu and Carl Beskin's run ended early on during day 2, when a broken engine forced them to retire after stage 8. This allowed Port Elizabeth teenager Morna Janse van Rensburg and navigator Dewald Hatting take the class lead in their GC diesel-sponsored City Golf, but they were attacked throughout the day by the little Total Evolution Yaris of Vusi Mabanga and Sean Visser. Going into the final few stages, Janse van Rensburg had his nose slightly in front, but a puncture near the end handed the victory to determined Mabanga, who never gave up. It was an emotional moment for Mabanga and Visser, who recorded their first ever class win in front of a packed Nelspruit crowd.
We had our problems, we had our ups and downs, but we're happy to be at the end and we're happy to have a podium finish.
Class N3 for near-standard production cars with engines up to 2 litres in capacity is usually a playground for a few Toyota Runnixes, but on the Sasol, the Ford Fiesta of Tony Barbosa and Kenny Hill joined the action. As the only other Class N3 finisher, Barbosa claimed the second position, but he was no match for the speed of the Team Sasol Toyota Runnix of Dave Compton and Pierre Jordan. Compton moved up to this class only 3 events ago, and although there is a lack of real competition, Compton impresses on each outing. He rewarded sponsor Sasol with a fine 17th position overall and a hat-trick of Class N3 wins.
You know, I was always wondering what it felt like for the cricket guys to do a hat-trick, and now I know. Yes, brilliant.
The 2009 Sasol Rally was coming to an end,